U.S.'s latest hypersonic fighter has taken the world by storm. This newly upgraded all-weather, extremely maneuverable, tactical fighter has surprised NATO countries and Russia with its advanced capabilities and cutting-edge technology. Despite the ongoing sixth-generation fighter projects, the Pentagon is investing heavily in these updated F-15s, and this latest version features incredible speed and incorporates sixth-generation technologies. Armed with hypersonic missiles with a range of over 500 miles, these fighters are both cost-effective and highly advanced. What upgrades has this airfighter undergone? What amazing feature does this airfighter have to keep dominating the skies? Join us as we delve into the details of the latest hypersonic fighter that just got tested and has surprised the nations around the world. The United States is leaving no table unturned in maintaining its stance at the forefront of technological advancement. This nation has taken its air superiority a step ahead, as it's not only investing in the next generation of air dominance, it's also upgrading its fighters from previous generations, making sure they have what it takes to take on the present-day advanced threat. After reports of the massive upgrades that the Raptor, the United States' very first stealth fighter, underwent, this nation has also invested in upgrading the F-15EX, making it a force to reckon with in the skies. Before we delve into the mind-blowing upgrades, let's refresh our memories on how formidable this fighter jet was and how it even came into existence. The McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle is an American twin-engine fighter jet that was designed for all-weather combat by McDonnell Douglas. The United States Air Force chose this design in 1969 to fulfill its need for a superior air combat fighter, and that was exactly what it got. The Eagle had its first flight in July 1972 and began service in 1976. This technological marvel is one of the most successful modern fighters and has achieved over 100 victories with no losses, mostly credited to the Israeli Air Force. The history of this air fighter goes back a long way to the early Vietnam War, when the U.S. Air Force and Navy debated over future tactical aircraft. Defense Secretary Robert McNamara wanted both services to use common aircraft, even if it meant some performance compromises. This led to the TFX or F-111 program, aimed at creating a medium-range interdiction aircraft for the Air Force that could also serve as a long-range interceptor for the Navy. In January 1965, McNamara asked the Air Force to consider a new low-cost fighter for short-range roles and close air support to replace various older aircraft. The Navy preferred the Douglas A-4 Skyhawk and LTV A-7 Corsair II, while the Air Force leaned towards the Northrop F-5, which had a secondary attack capability. After losing two Republic F-105 Thunder Chiefs to MiG-17s in April 1965, it was clear a new air superiority fighter was needed. After then, the Department of Defense began considering the F-5 and started studying a new fighter dubbed FX. Initial studies called for 800 to 1,000 aircraft focused on maneuverability over speed. By August, Tactical Air Command supported this idea, lowering the required speed to Mach 2.5 to reduce costs. The Air Force finalized its requirements for an air superiority fighter and sent its request to 13 renowned defense companies. But after the proposals from these companies came in, studies showed that proposed designs were too large and heavy, similar to the F-111 and not suitable for air superiority. Meanwhile, combat studies from Vietnam revealed that long-range missile combat wasn't working as expected. Instead, aircraft were engaging in close-range, maneuverable dogfights, which highlighted the need for a more agile fighter. This led to John Boyd's energy maneuverability theory, which emphasized power and maneuverability over speed. In early 1967, a new proposal suggested an ideal fighter with a thrust-to-weight ratio near 1:1, a maximum speed of Mach 2.3, and a weight of 40,000 pounds. At the same time, the Navy decided the F-111 wouldn't meet its needs and started the VFX program, eventually leading to the Grumman F-14 Tomcat. The Soviet Union's MiG-25 raised concerns about U.S. air superiority, prompting the Air Force to push for a dedicated air superiority fighter. The Air Force released another request for proposals, asking for a single-seat, twin-engine fighter with a top speed of Mach 2.5 and a thrust-to-weight ratio near 1.1. McDonnell Douglas was selected to develop the FX, later known as the F-15. The first F-15A flew in July 1917-2, followed by the two-seat F-15B in July 1973. The F-15 features advanced radar, computer technology to reduce pilot workload, and a single canopy frame for better visibility. It became a highly successful air superiority fighter, leading to criticism that it was too large and expensive, which eventually led to the development of the smaller F-16 and F/A-18. It has a mostly metal fuselage with a strong wing mounted high on the body. The wing shape looks like a cropped delta with a 45-degree angle on the front edge. The back edge has ailerons and simple flaps for lift, but no flaps on the front edge. This design avoids complexity by having low wing loading and a fixed camber on the leading edge. The wing thickness varies from 6% at the base to 3% at the tip. The tail section uses metal and composite materials with twin vertical stabilizers made from aluminum and composite honeycomb structures covered in boron composite skin, making them very thin. The horizontal tails move independently to help with roll control during certain maneuvers. The F-15 also has a spine-mounted air brake and retractable tricycle landing gear. It is powered by two Pratt & Whitney F100 turbofan engines with afterburners placed side by side in the fuselage and fed by rectangular inlets with variable intake ramps. The cockpit is high in the front of the fuselage with a single-piece windshield and a large canopy, giving the pilot a full 360-degree view. In the 1970s, advanced titanium components started being used in the airframe. Its maneuverability comes from its low wing loading and high thrust-to-weight ratio, allowing tight turns without losing speed. It can climb to 30,000 feet in about 60 seconds. At certain speeds, the thrust from the engines is greater than the plane's weight and drag, allowing vertical acceleration. The weapons and control systems are designed for a single pilot to manage air-to-air combat effectively. The A and C models are single-seaters for air superiority. The B and D models have a second seat for training, but can also be used in combat. The E model uses the second seat for a weapons systems officer. Unlike other modern fighters, the F-15 doesn't have aerodynamic exhaust covers on its engines due to development issues that led to their removal, causing a slight increase in drag. An Israeli F-15D once demonstrated it could fly with only one wing after a mid-air collision in 1983. Despite losing most of its right wing, the pilot Zevi Nadivi managed to land the plane by using full afterburner and landing at double the normal speed. Wind tunnel tests later showed that flight with one wing was possible within a narrow speed range and angle of attack. This incident led to research in damage adaptive technology and the development of an intelligent flight control system. The avionics system is designed for multiple missions and includes a head-up display, advanced radar, inertial guidance system, flight instruments, ultra-high-frequency communications, tactical air navigation, and instrument landing system receivers. It also features a built-in tactical electronic warfare system, an identification friend or foe system, an electronic countermeasure suite, and a central digital computer. The HUD shows all essential flight information from the integrated avionics system. This display is visible in any light and helps the pilot track and destroy enemy aircraft without looking down at the cockpit instruments. The F-15's APG-63 and 70 pulse Doppler radar systems can detect high-flying and low-flying targets without being confused by ground clutter. These radars can spot and track aircraft and fast-moving targets at long and short ranges, down to treetop level. The APG-63 has a basic range of 100 miles. The radar sends target information to the central computer for effective weapon use. In close-range dogfights, the radar automatically locks onto enemy aircraft, and this information appears on the HUD. Its electronic warfare system provides threat warnings and automatic countermeasures. The upgraded radars, which use active electronically scanned array technology, include most of the hardware from the earlier version, but with added AESA for better pilot awareness. The AESA radar has a very agile beam for quick track updates and enhanced multi-target tracking. These upgraded radars are compatible with current F-15C weapons and allow pilots to use AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles to simultaneously guide multiple missiles to different targets. Let's talk about the weapon-carrying capacity of the F-15. It can carry a range of air-to-air weapons. An automated system allows the pilot to release weapons safely and effectively using the head-up display and controls on the throttles or control stick. When switching weapons, visual guidance for the chosen weapon appears on the head-up display. It can be equipped with 4 types of air-to-air weapons: AIM-7F/M Sparrow, or AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles on its lower fuselage, AIM-9L/M Sidewinder, or AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles on wing pylons, and a built-in 20mm M16-1 Vulcan Gatling gun in the right wing root. Low-drag conformal fuel tanks, originally called fuel and sensor tactical packs, were developed for the F-15C and D models. These tanks attach to the sides of the engine air intakes under each wing and match the aircraft's load and speed limits. While they slightly reduce performance by increasing drag and cannot be dropped mid-flight, they cause less drag than conventional external tanks and hold 750 US gallons of fuel each. CFTs extend the F-15's range and reduce the need for mid-air refueling. All external stations for weapons remain available, and missiles like the Sparrow or AMRAAM can be mounted on the CFTs. The USAF's 57th Fighter Interceptor Squadron, based in Iceland, regularly used CFTs for extended North Atlantic missions. After the squadron closed, only the F-15E variant routinely used CFTs, which have also been sold to Israel and Saudi Arabia. The F-15 has lasted so long because it can be upgraded in many ways. Over the years, many versions of the fighter have been made, making it very versatile. It's important to note that this isn't just an old aircraft with new parts. It's a completely new aircraft built from scratch with the latest technology. It can perform both fighter missions and strike ground targets like bombers do. The new F-15 can reach an altitude of 59,000 feet. The fuselage has been significantly strengthened and redesigned to reduce radar visibility. It has new F-110 GE-129 engines from General Electric, providing a total thrust of 55,000 pounds. This gives the aircraft a speed of over 1,860 miles per hour and excellent maneuverability, which is 1.5 times more than the newer F-35 can achieve. The aircraft also has a digital electronic remote control system for better maneuvering during flight. It includes a digital backbone-based electronic system and an APG-82 radar, which can track up to 10 air and surface targets at a range of 185 miles. This allows continuous surveillance outside the enemy's range. The new F-15 also has the latest active warning and survivability system, along with a new communication system to work with the F-35. Surprisingly, it will also have an upgrade typically found only on 6th-generation fighters: the ability to interact with unmanned drones, part of the Dark Star and NGAD systems. It has also been equipped with a digital cockpit that has large screens and a digital pilot helmet that shows all important flight information. It's currently armed with AIM-120 missiles with a range of 40 miles and bombs perfect for destroying tank formations. Developers plan to use a new missile with a range of over 310 miles. 6 of these fighters have already been produced, with 2 more nearly finished. By 2025, 64 F-15EX Eagle II fighters are planned, with the Air Force expecting 200 in total at a cost of $23 billion. So why invest in this aircraft when there are newer ones like the F-35? The F-22 was supposed to replace the older fighters, but it turned out to be very expensive to produce and operate. Just 1 hour of flight costs $44,000, meaning a small 5-hour mission with 10 aircraft costs over $2 million. In contrast, an hour of flight for an old F-15 costs only $27,000, and it's more reliable and easier to maintain. While a top configuration F-15 costs $34 million, a Raptor costs $145 million, making it the most expensive fighter jet ever. The F-35 is cheaper, but still pricey due to its advanced engine that allows it to fly at supersonic speeds without afterburners, saving fuel and increasing its range. The F-22 can reach a speed of 1,500 miles per hour, the best among fifth-generation fighters, while the F-35 reaches 1,200 miles per hour. The F-22 can fly at 65,000 feet, and the F-35 at 62,300 feet, both higher than most air defense systems can reach. However, the new fighters have many issues. F-22 pilots often complain about problems with the oxygen system and unpleasant smells in the cockpit, leading to financial cuts in the program. The F-35 also has problems and can't fly at supersonic speeds without afterburners, and it can't sustain supersonic flight. Both F-22 and F-35 pilots have reported symptoms of possible oxygen deprivation. Given these issues, the upgraded F-15EX-300, which outperforms other fighters, is a great value for its cost. The F-15X will become a key part of the U.S. tactical system, complementing the fifth-generation fighters. A new hypersonic weapon has been developed for it, an air-to-surface glide-boost missile with a planned warhead that can accelerate up to 3,100 miles per hour and has a range of over 500 miles. Experts believe this weapon will be compact enough for the F-15. Anonymous Pentagon officials have expressed surprise that there's no need to spend a huge amount of money to get an excellent aircraft. The United States proves once again that it makes the best aircraft in the world for all occasions. This nation is also working on a new bomber that is equipped with capabilities that will surpass the expectations of humans, the B-21 Raider. The Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider is a new American strategic bomber being developed for the U.S. Air Force by Northrop Grumman. It is a part of the Long-Range Strike Bomber program and is designed to be a long-range stealth bomber capable of carrying both conventional and nuclear weapons. The United States Air Force plans for the B-21 to replace the Rockwell B-1 Lancer and Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit by 2040, and potentially the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress later on. Planning for the B-21 started in 2011, and the main development contract was awarded in 2015. The B-21 had its first flight on November 10, 2023, and is expected to enter service by 2027. Many details about the B-21 are classified, including its speed, size, stealth capabilities, structure, engine types, weapons, and onboard sensors. However, some information has been made public since 2015. The first photos of the B-21 were released on December 2, 2022, during a rollout ceremony at Northrop Grumman's production facility in Palmdale, California. The secretive Long-Range Strike Bomber program started in 2011. The Air Force requested proposals for the LRSB aircraft in July 2014, and Northrop Grumman was awarded the development contract in October 2015. Boeing and Lockheed Martin, who lost the bid, filed protests, but the Government Accountability Office upheld the decision to award the contract to Northrop Grumman in October 2016, citing cost as the main factor. The Air Force Rapid Capabilities Office oversees the B-21 program, but it still needs to report to Congress under the Nunn-McCurdy requirements. In 2015, there were reports that the bomber would also serve as an intelligence platform, battle manager, and interceptor. In 2016, then Secretary of the Air Force Deborah Lee James described the B-21 as a fifth-generation global precision attack platform with advanced networking capabilities. Northrop Grumman calls it the world's first sixth-generation aircraft. This aircraft can carry weapons weighing up to 20,000 pounds. It has a length of 54 feet and a wingspan of 132 feet. Its empty weight is 70,000 pounds, and its maximum takeoff weight is 180,000 pounds. It can reach a top speed of over Mach 0.8. At the 2016 Air Warfare Symposium, officials named the LRSB the B-21 because it would be the first bomber of the 21st century. In September 2016, it was named Raider to honor the Doolittle Raiders, with retired Lieutenant Colonel Richard E. Cole, the last living member of the Raiders, present at the ceremony. In March 2016, the Air Force announced 7 main suppliers for the B-21 program: Pratt & Whitney, BAE Systems, Spirit Aerosystems, Orbital ATK, Rockwell Collins, GKN Aerospace, and Janicki Industries. The engines are expected to be similar to the F-35 Pratt and Whitney F-135 to keep costs down. The program completed its critical design review in December 2018. In January 2020, the Air Force released new images of the B-21, showing its sleek design with flush inlets and a two-wheel main landing gear, indicating it might be smaller and lighter than the B-2. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.